Welcome everybody to Treasure. It's the new IP created by Burda Media India. It's an IP for the jewelry industry where a lot of content in the digital space and even the print space is going to be created in the times to come. This is the first panel that we are having with four independent women jewelry entrepreneurs. So we've never had a panel with four women jewelry entrepreneurs together. In fact, we never had a panel even with four or even one jewelry entrepreneur who was a woman together. So it's a great thing. It's a first for Treasure, and welcome to all of you. Uh,
Thank you.
and the reason we are doing this, so it's called Women Jewelry Entrepreneurs Making Inroads. The reason we are doing this is because since the past decade or little more than decade, women have emerged stronger in the Indian context, and they've been making inroads into almost every industry. Whether you see banking, okay, the top CEOs were, women. When you see media and you see Bollywood also, it was always hero heroine. Nowadays, movies are being made with women as protagonists. So even in the jewelry industry, we've seen that, earlier perception tha ke a woman is a designer. Okay, so anybody who's in a store, who's like a woman, presentable, talking the smart talk and all that would be perceived as a designer. But things have changed drastically in the past 10 years. Okay, so this is the four of you. Before I go further, I'd like each of you to just introduce yourself, maybe in about 3 to 4 sentences, and then we'll start the queries. Okay, Kirati, you want to start first?
Yeah, okay, fine, Naveen. Hi, I'm Kirati Shah, founder partner at Splurge Jewels. My journey into jewelry industry started at a very early age. I come from a slightly traditional family background where women are not encouraged to work, but I wanted to defy the norms, so I took up internship at Intergold while studying in college. Within a year, I realized that jewelry industry is where my calling is. So I kickstarted my business as soon as I graduated. This industry has been very kind to me, given that from being a small setup working from home, now we are a team of 50 working diligently to realize my dream. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Kirati. That's nice. Neha, over to you.
Hi Naveen. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on the panel discussion today. I am Neha Lulla founder and CEO at Neha Lulla Jewelry Mumbai. A homemaker, a mother, a travel enthusiast, a fitness enthusiast. And my journey started 20 years ago. As I look back, I see a young, resilient, passionate jewelry designer wanting to do something very significant in the field of jewelry design. So I had the opportunity to work with a lot of jewelry legends, export houses, and apprenticed, in different segments in the jewelry industry. In the year 2009, uh, uh, we founded Neha Lulla Jewelry, and since then it's been a beautiful journey, beautiful and successful journey. My inspiration comes from real life personalities, cultures, and places that I visit. My jewelry is not only for the modern woman, it is for every woman who's an individual, strong, unique, and beautiful in her own way. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's a nice introduction. Gulan, over to you.
Yes, hi Naveen. Thank you for having me on this platform. Hello everyone. I am Gulan Chetan and the co-founder of the brand Quaish. My love story with my husband Pankaj led me to Kuwait, where we started our professional journey. Thanks and courtesy to Saddam Hussein that we had to shift back to Chennai, and that's when we started Quaish in 2003. I consider myself very fortunate to having had the experience of being a co-founder from the age of 24. And today Quaish stands as a unique destination for diamond jewelry in Chennai.
Thank you, Gulan. Vandana, over to you.
Hi. Hi, Naveen. Thank you for having me and really nice to meet all of you. I'm Vandana Jagwani, Creative Director of Mahesh Nautandas, which I like to call Creative Disruptor because although being part of the natural diamond jewelry industry, I have also created my own brand, Vandals, which is the first designer boutique for lab-grown diamond jewelry. And I actually did not ever think I would get into jewelry industry, although I grew into it. But somehow it just called to me because I studied finance and marketing, and I never thought I'd be into jewelry. But when you come back and you're so confused, just sitting there, jewelry is something that grows on you. And it really grew on me, and I realized it's one of my passions. And I love change, and I love bringing in new ideas, and I don't mind disrupting myself. So that's how I have set myself up right now, both of this.
Okay, thanks a lot, Vandana. I totally endorse whatever you said about yourself. I've seen you working, and what is not the norm clicks to you first. Okay, cool. So let's go forward. And the reason we've got all of you together is because one thing common between all of you are in the front line of your businesses. Okay, so it's not just that you're handling a part of a small business. You are each of you are independently responsible for the business in totality. You know exactly what's happening with the design. You know exactly what's happening in the sales. You know exactly what's happening in the accounts. You know what's happening in merchandising. You know दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है और बॉम्बे में क्या हो रहा है और यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है. You know, so that's the common. So you are all industrious strong women working on each of your labels and brands and businesses, as if I may so. Okay, now my only thing is that some of you may have come into it because of legacy. Some of you have made your own inroads. The first thing that I want to ask, it's open to any of you who wants to start answering. When you started this business or when you got into the business, did you ever feel that there was a glass ceiling for a woman entrepreneur to take on the jewelry business? Okay, did you ever feel at any point of time जब ये आपने शुरुआत की कि एक glass ceiling है?
Well, can I start?
Yeah, sure.
Definitely, if you see 2 decades ago, it was definitely a male-dominant industry. So yes, there were some ups and downs, and there was some difficulty. But if I see now, I don't think there is any such thing. There are probably more women than men in the industry taking over and taking the lead. I think what could be the gap here is probably the design, like a platform to learn the design and innovation. If you compare it with the architecture or engineering, these kind of industries, design leads the process, which is probably still a little behind in the jewelry industry.
Correct.
I do agree, but I also think, yeah, it's not jewelry per se. There are a lot of factors that go on in the world. And as a world, the world has been shifting currently. Like feminism has come up, education has come up, exposure has come up. So I think all industries are changing, but women are stepping out. So it's not like a glass ceiling right now in jewelry. It's been there everywhere. And as the world shifts, it changes every industry.
Good. So it's so and like Neha also pointed out, and you're also endorsing that today it really doesn't matter because, like Neha says, there are more women jewelers who we see every day coming up than we see
Right.
jewelers. Honestly, so
Correct.
I'm also noticing that. So even that group which is called WJA, there are
Right.
so many women jewelers who have started doing small things, starting from home and then going on to high streets, kind of thing. Gulan, you want to add something?
Yes, so I'd like to say that I have never experienced any such barrier in my profession. In fact, I'm very lucky to have been married into a family of jewelers where women have always been given the responsibility from day one to prove their capabilities. And I also believe that who other than a woman can understand jewelry better and, set the industry on fire.
Yeah, nice. That's okay. Uh, Kirati, you did say something about when you started, so you had a little bit of barriers when you started in your business.
Yeah, I agree with Kullan to an extent. Personally, I came from a conservative background, but I've never felt this industry conservative. In fact, it has welcomed and embraced women with open arms. I think there's nothing in this industry which a woman cannot do and is hindered to do also.
Exactly.
Vandana, how important do you think? I'm going to the second ponder point that to be a jewelry entrepreneur as a woman, is it important that every woman has to be a designer?
Not at all. Not at all. Because the whole point is if you're an entrepreneur, An entrepreneur needs to know the one thing is that you don't know every department of yours, and you don't, and you, if you think I'm going to do everything, that's your weakness. The biggest thing is, more than knowing your strengths, I believe as an entrepreneur, you should know your weaknesses and build on that, or assign someone or delegate, because if you'll try to do everything yourself, somewhere you're going to fall short. So you can pick which skill you want. You can pick if you really just enjoy the commercial retail, or you want to enjoy the sales part or the branding part of jewelry, or you just enjoy the product or the market, because it's not always design that leads you to an industry. Sometimes it's opportunity.
True, true,
It,
true,
it's
true.
in different industries. It can happen anywhere. So
Mm.
I just think for an entrepreneur, if you're not talking as a designer, as a business person, you don't have to always be skilled at everything. But of course, you need to know your product very well, because product is key. Not necessarily is design. Knowing the product and designing are two different things.
Fair enough. I see that point of distinction. Anybody else has anything to add to that?
I think jewelry is a piece of art, and art without design is like a person without soul. So if you, I think we don't have the right design sense to create a product. It doesn't do justice to the product. It doesn't do justice to the manufacturing journey. The entire process of bringing it from a design to a real piece.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
of course, you need to have a good sense of design being into a retail or manufacturing business. I think it's very important.
Yeah, so good design sense is important, but being a qualified or certified jewelry designer may not be.
See, that helps you have an edge over the others for sure.
True, true, true. That would help. Yeah, yeah. Gulan, any views on
That,
that?
that certainly has an edge over, but in my case, I've done a very basic diamond grading course when I started.
Mm.
And I come from a family where my father was in the cattle field business, and my mom is even now a well known name in the food industry in Coimbatore. And to add to my credit, the retail experience that I got from my father in law and an hands on experience in Chennai in the retail sector from 2003. The technicalities of manufacturing that I learned from Pankaj, all this goes a long way in my experience at Quaish. And especially now, clients look forward to seeing me at the store and get their desires out whenever I'm there in front of them. Like they look forward to having my designs and my ideas and my thoughts. So I feel one does not have to be a professional designer to be a good retailer or a manufacturer, but it's one's dedication, passion, creativity that comes a long way in what they do.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a
Uh,
lot of skills that can be learned over time, because if I'll go to see, like, I might have studied marketing, finance, but once I came back and got into jewelry, I did do my diamond reading. I did do a jewelry course at CSM. I did a jewelry styling course. I did everything. But that does not necessarily make me an entrepreneur. Like, it's all the skills that make you that. And suppose my dad didn't do a professional designing course, but because his aesthetic sense was so good, Mahesh Das is the one that has a legacy, right? And he didn't need to learn designing for that, but he's still really good at design.
Correct. So there are
He's
a lot
really
of skills you learn along the path also, which is
yeah,
real world, through real world also. Yeah,
yeah.
true,
So
true,
you always
true.
have to keep learning, and as the world changes, there are 100 more things that you have to always accelerate yourself with.
I think understanding the feel and the pulse of the market is the most important thing to succeed as an entrepreneur. So, being a designer definitely gives you an edge over other things, but ultimately, what sells, sells.
In this whole business of jewelry retail, there are many departments we go to see. Okay. There is merchandising, there is marketing, there is accounts, there is finance, there is operations, there is security and systems, there's software, there's HR, there's so much. Okay. And much more. Even if you are a 4 member company or you're a 50 member company or a 500 member company, you may not have departments, but you definitely play these functions in whatever capacity. Which of these functions do you think, okay, especially being a woman entrepreneur, okay, which is best suited to the sensibilities of a woman entrepreneur of all these functions when you're looking at jewelry?
I don't
Neha,
think there is any gender sensibility here. I think being an entrepreneur, you're just getting a 360-degree approach when you have an experience in all aspects. So, like I am very proud of and very thankful for being an entrepreneur to be able to have experience in all departments in all aspects. So it is. I don't think women should be. They should have any limitations to be restricted to one department or aspect per se. They're suitable to just about everything. It's on them what they want to pick. They should be given the choice to pick whatever they like. I think they're good at pretty much everything.
no,
And I
sometimes,
don't think
but being a woman, sometimes some people feel that these things come better to a woman than it comes to a man.
See,
Okay.
definitely the design sensibilities come better to us. The
Hmm.
styling comes better to us. But I can also vouch for better marketing, better PR, sometimes better accounting.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on an individual, really.
it's really an individual, like, because as the world's changing and we're becoming more gender fluid, some of the men can be better designers too, and some
Yeah.
women can be better at finance. So it's really right now everyone is following their passion. It can be like, so I think this is the glass ceiling of people, like the biggest glass ceiling is like we're considering that this is good for women and this is women should be good at this and men should be good at this. It should be more like an individual choice, your
Like
own
if you're a
passion.
woman, you're the designer. If you're a man, you're handling the finance part of it.
Yeah.
So I think tables have turned, it works both ways.
Anything to add, Kirati, Gulan?
So I
Yeah,
feel if
like
you're
what
in
she's
retail,
saying,
go ahead, go
in
ahead.
my company also marketing is handled by my brother, but rather everything else is controlled by me and my sister.
Yeah, so I think if you're in retail and your business is a design-led model, it's a lady who can better represent and connect with another on design trends and the story that one's jewelry carries. And it's also a woman's sensibilities in advising the right piece of jewelry for the occasion, the attire that complements the same. And it's at the end of it also a woman's personal touch in the in-store experience also that really matters.
So, like you're saying, it's the aesthetics are many a time better when it's a woman on the job, is what
I
you're trying
think
to say
so.
in different
I
things.
think
Okay,
so, absolutely.
I also feel that in most jewelry stores, if you see your things may be changing slightly, but people in the counter are largely women. Okay, so if you see in large format stores or whatever, there are women's counters. Okay, I think that women connect better to a woman and they're able to open up much better than they would to a man. Okay, so if I have to look at the function of human resource building or human resource development or problem sharing, a sales girl is more comfortable when her boss is a woman and wanting to talk to her. "Okay, listen, can I talk to you for 2 minutes? I have this problem." Okay. So when I was talking about this whole subject, it was not about what a woman is better at or what both can do. The idea is there are some sensibilities which are natural, which come easy to a woman compared to a man. It comes easier and it does help in the business of retail, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Going to the next one. Since like Vandana's already told me that she's a disruptor, uh, Gulan has moved from Kuwait to Chennai and started making it. Neha has started her own label. Kirati has, like she's saying, she and her sister control the business. The brother's doing the marketing. She and the sister control the media. Is there? All of you are, like engines, and I'm seeing. Okay, it's not wagons, you're like engines. Now, when you're an engine, have you done something to your business? Okay, which is fundamentally so strong or different or difficult, but that was your call. Okay, so any kind of changes, any kind of different thing that you've done, if you would want to share, then we'd be keen to know. Okay.
Should I start first?
Yeah, sure, Kirati.
Yeah. From bringing a traditional setup of stocking goods, making jewelry, and sales, we over a period of time have actually reduced our inventory and shifted our focus on designing. We've heavily invested in our designing team.
Okay.
Now, every quarter, we come up with a new collection, which is in sync with international trends adopted to Indian sensibilities. Because at the end, my market is largely India, but they like to adopt the West. The season kickstarts with smaller, chicer things. And as the wedding season picks up, we go into more elaborate jewelry. I specialize in wedding trousseaux, planning wedding trousseaux for my retail clients. That is my specialty. So there is where we started adding a lot of colors and non-traditional ones like pink sapphires, tanzanites, something like a ceramic enamel, different kind of stuff that we are putting ourselves up for. And that change is what we are looking forward to, introducing it into the new market. So I feel learning over a period of time has evolved a lot in our business, and we are adapting to the new sets also.
Vandana, you want to say something?
For me, because it's a family business, family business sounds like you got a legacy, but with a legacy, when you want to change the legacy, it's the biggest challenge. Because you're facing, it's not you're doing everything and every call is you also, to get around that has always been a challenge for me, but I've always done it. The biggest thing I've done completely on my own was, of course, the launch of my own brand, Vandals, which literally I informed my parents, listen, 1 week ago it was opening. In 1 week, I'm launching my brand. My jewelry is ready. My store is ready. And this day is the launch and this is the party. You can invite your guests.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the biggest thing I've done. And
Yeah.
it was in his store, in my dad's store, which I completely transformed, but it was all me. And it was such a challenge because to transform his store completely over the weekend, he was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Look, the music can't be this loud, whatever. But once he came and he saw the end result, we just sent him home, like, go home, come back at night. And he
So
was like,
I
wow, this is
remember
amazing.
that, even the facade. I remember, unlike most launches which happen in the morning, this launch happened much later, 10 o'clock in the night. Okay. The facade and the whole shutter was down. So you could not enter from the main door. It was spray painted with cans called rule breakers and game changers. Okay. So it was out there loud and saying that, listen, I'm a disruptor, take me as I am, kind of a thing. I remember that. So yeah, that is
That's
going on.
really very daring, Vandana.
Yeah. Okay, Neha, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, apart from setting processes in the organization, what we've really worked on is the technology and making easy access to the consumer, like for our jewelry, to view the jewelry, because we are not a retail outlet. We work by appointments. So through social media, through WhatsApp, and through our website, that is what we've been really working on and seeing very good results. And definitely digital diligent planning has helped us add value to the customers, to what they buy, and making very affordable pieces. So that is something we've been working on, and it's been doing well.
So, and I understand that your store is not on high street on the
Yeah,
ground
it's
floor. And
yeah.
with this technology, I think it really doesn't make much of a difference now.
It
Whether
doesn't.
you're
Our
whether you're on the
reach
ground.
is very vast.
Mm,
It's
mm,
global,
mm,
and I think that's what currently matters. Of course, the touch and feel is very important. We are available in Mumbai. We exhibit all over India,
mm, mm.
and very soon internationally also, once things get better. But it's not like people don't have access to us. You're sitting somewhere in one corner of the world, you can easily see our website, get in touch with us. I think everybody has somebody in India to, for us to deliver the jewelry, at least in India for now.
Mm, mm.
So yes, that is something we worked on.
Gulan?
Yes, the changes that Pankaj and me have worked upon in our setup is first being a very career defining change of moving from a commercial mass jewelry background in Kuwait to setting up an elite brand like Quaish in Chennai. The second being modernizing the South style of jewelry with our own design creativity, which really took our clients by surprise. And the third one being making diamond jewelry more appealing, affordable, aspirational to the growing young Indian consumer. Yeah, and Pankaj leads the digital module of our brand Quaish. So yeah, these are the changes that we've made.
Okay, great. And The last thing that I want to ask you all is nothing to do with work. It's a lot to do with what do you do beyond work. So some of you have families to take care of. Some of you have lifestyle. Some of you are into exercising, hobbies, whatever. So anything that you want to share about that, we'd be keen to know.
To be honest, I don't have much time being a working mother. But given a cup of tea and a cozy corner, I lose myself to books. Other than that, I enjoy playing cards with my daughter and going for treks once in a while with my family.
Okay.
That summarizes me in a few words, I feel.
I love traveling. Given an opportunity, be it a weekend or whatever, I take my daughter, husband, and we go everywhere. Adventure is something that I love, and I make sure my daughter is a part of it too. She's just 6, but whatever she can manage, getting her hang of it from now, for her to see the crazy side of her mother as well, not just at home and work. So that is something I love doing, and I think experiences help me bring it helps me get inspired more to do better, beautiful jewelry, and somewhere it leaves imprints on the pieces I make.
Okay. So travel inspires.
Definitely, always.
Vandana?
So I love to spend time with my friends and family. I chill a lot with my nieces and nephews. I am currently learning to play the piano as well because I feel like there's a lot of stuff I didn't do as a child, like art and sports and stuff, which I've picked up more as an adult. I like to ski. I love to read in my free time. I read a lot, and otherwise, half the time I'm just sitting and researching designs and just looking and looking and looking at designs the whole time because my one photography professor told me this one line in college and it just stuck by me. Art inspires art.
Okay.
When we're doing projects, the more you research, the more you see because the more you understand even technicalities of things.
Mhm. Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's something to take home. Art inspires art. Gulan, what about you?
Yeah, so I love having a simple lifestyle. In my free time, my great stress buster is cooking up something in the kitchen. I have a teenage son, and yeah, I don't do much apart from that. I love creating new jewelry concepts, and I love, you know, I as I get aspiration from designs and motifs, and that's how I create my jewelry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if you are in the retail front and you and your brother-in-law are actually the front face for the company, I mean, I'm sure you wrap up by 8:30 every day, and to be there
Yeah,
every
I
day
am a
is
workaholic. I look forward to going to the store every day. There's never been a day when I'm not here by 11:30 in the morning.
nice, 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 nice. So it was so nice to hear all of this from all four of you, and all four of you are, uh, what do I say? I mean, there's this thing. I made a video sometime back. It says, Indian women ever changing, never changing. Okay. So if I have to put all of that, it all comes together in that line. So Vandana gave one line, art is, art inspires that. I am just saying that the way I look at everybody, each of you, I'm sure, has evolved over a period of time. Okay. So we've always been changing, but our passion for our business, for the jewelry industry is never changing. Okay. And that's very good for all of us. Okay. So on that note, I'm going to sign off and thank you all. If there's anything anybody wants to say to everybody, you're fine. Otherwise, we'll sign off.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it was certainly nice meeting all of you.
Thank you so much for having us. It was lovely being on this platform.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you so much.
It's
Yes.
it's it's a pleasure of treasure. Thank you.